Hey, School family. Are we on? Hey, guys. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the replay. When you get in, you can invite your followers. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. How are you?
Yeah, I shared it on Periscope.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We're not going to be before you long. We just wanted to jump on here and talk about our journey really quick. God has been extremely faithful. I've been like in a really mushy state, so this is why we felt led to do this. So I'm not going to do that much talking because y'all know how I get. The woman of God is going to talk and I'm just going to chime in on occasion. So this is her scope. So this is Bishop Jordan Gamby. She's one of the dearest people closest to my heart, and we just kind of wanted to scope to share our journey and talk about how the Lord brought us together and what the Lord is doing through us together. So, and we have to acknowledge our wonderful cameraman, Bishop Ivan Lynn Jr. He's also gonna direct and produce with questions and commentary. So, go for it. Jump in there.
All right. So, wow. Where do I start? Do I start from the first time we met, or
go for it? It's your world. whatever your heart desires.
So it's really crazy because when I first started coming around All Nations, my intent was to steal my cousin back. So I came with like ill intentions. It's just like, let me go
I did not
see.
know that.
It's like, let me go see this coat that took Jaleel away from me.
Are you serious?
And I promise
That
you that was
is
my
so
intentions
crazy.
on coming to All Nations.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, it's sweet. You at a new church. Let me, So I went to go get Jaleel back, but then the presence of God was just there. So the first time I came, it really didn't change anything. I was still a heathen. I was still a heathen. But then my birthday came up, and I had a big old shindig. So pre me getting saved, I was like twerk queen of America. I'm serious. I love to twerk. It was life. I twerked for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. All right.
And it was just,
thank you for delivering.
I praise God for deliverance, because that was just what I loved to do. That's what I was known for. People would pay me to come to their parties and twerk. Yeah, and I would get paid at the party, so they would
like
throw
a legit
money.
job.
It
Sia
was a
said, can you
business.
teach her how to twerk?
Best friend, do not.
No.
She's been delivered. That's
yeah,
fine.
I can teach you how to pray.
That
now.
old man is dead. Come on. Sorry. Forgive me. Go ahead. Yeah, really aggressive.
Well, yeah, that was my past. Just, just around the world, twerking.
That was like a legit job.
It was a legit job. People, not only was I getting paid by the party host, but at the parties, boys would throw money at you. So I never stayed broke. I was never broke. I always had money. People would never, they be like, what? No, I took pride in that too. Anyway. So that's what I was doing. And I remember a dinner, my auntie's dinner, and Vikki and Tavana came with Jaleel. And I didn't even know Vikki. But I straight up told Vikki, what I tell you, I was a thought.
You did.
I said, yep, I'm a thought. And I'm like,
that was the very first conversation we had.
why am I being so out there with telling this lady that I don't know that I'm a straight up thought?
That's
like,
hilarious.
and I knew that was weird. And I'm not even really in relationship with God, but I asked Lord, I said, what? Why would I tell this woman that? And then, what happened? So,
we ministered to Kobe that night.
Yeah, they ministered to my best friend at the time, and we still really good friends. We believed in God to bring him back or whatever, but they ministered to me and my friend, and it was just, I would never forget who Vikki was, and I was just in awe because she was so honest and welcoming with her approach to who God was, and what the Lord could do for me in the future. And I was just like, oh wow. So me coming to All Nations more, Vikki was always there, and she was always embracing me for some reason, and I wasn't used to that. And I told her, I'm just like, and I never would have known she wasn't affectionate, because when I came around, Vikki would hug me all the time. Vikki hugged the devil out of me for real. I'm working on affection, but she's one of the people, like, she hugged me, she would hold me, and it's uncomfortable. I would manifest in her arms like, okay, it's time to let me go. Yeah, like, because I was always looking for that. I have a natural sister, and I literally forget about her all the time because we don't have a sister relationship. But when Vikki came around, like, when I really got saved, I sat at God's feet and was open to relationships. To me, I would, like, the Lord wouldn't have allowed Vikki to come to me, because Vikki is a special possession. We are all God's special possessions. So I don't think the Lord would allow me to mistreat his special possession. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that when you're looking for mentors and when you're looking for people to steward over who you are, you have to position yourself as a student to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So when I came to All Nations, I wasn't necessarily looking for Apostle or Apostle K to be, you know, my mentor. I was just literally open to anybody. And so, like, the way the Lord deals with me is with dreams. So if he want to get rid of somebody or introduce somebody, it's in my dreams. Like, with my old friends, he literally would show me dreams of me, them allowing me to get jumped, or them setting me up, or them calling somebody like, yeah, here she come around the corner, and I would get jumped, like, to death. He would let me see me die in these dreams or whatever. So I'm like, oh, they gotta go. But it was a dream this summer, because I was depressed this summer. I didn't know I was depressed, but I was really depressed this summer. So I'm like, you know, nobody loves me and I have nobody. And I'm an actress too. I go to school for acting. So I can really show you that nothing is wrong with me but die inside. Isn't that cool? So I'm just dying inside.
That's demonic.
Yeah. Thank you. See, this is why I need her.
Thank you.
So I'm like, Lord, nobody. And that night, he showed me a dream, and it was Vikki. So in this dream, we didn't know each other, but we sat next to each other. She sat next to me. And these people clearly had, like, alternative methods towards who I was. So they were trying to assault me, you know, my character and my purpose. And they tried to offer me something. And Vikki was like, no, she's good. She's with me.
It sounds like me.
And I said, she's good, she was with me. So I'm seeing myself in a dream react like, I don't know this lady. And they keep offering me stuff, and she's like, no, you know, she's like redirecting what they're doing. And that was the Lord showing me that she was for me and not against me. So I'm just like, okay, God, this is somebody, you know, she's gonna, you know, she's good. She's not a witch or anything. Because at first I thought all people at All Nations were witches. You know? Honestly, I come in and the walls are black. I'm like, this is the cult.
I cannot.
So,
Unavailable.
we're just operating in the craft, the witch of the craft. So, but she protected me. And that's what I look for in people dealing with rejection. I look for people to protect me. So she shielded me from whatever they were doing, and she even removed me from that situation. I'm like, she from God. So it's like it's weird in a way, but then it's not, because we're similar in a lot of ways. And because every time I run to her with something, she's like, you know, the Lord dealt with me about that. And I'm like, how ironic. That's like really weird. It's crazy. But yeah, I just appreciate, you know, I appreciate what she does, what she has done, and it's crazy. She always calls at the right time or texts at the right time. Even though half the time I'm lying, like, ain't nothing wrong with me, she always, you know, she picks up on it. And I keep saying it's weird. It's not weird. I believe it's God, but it's something that I'm not used to. That's what I'll say. I'm just not used to that type of stuff. Women. So I'll tell you this. Before I came to All Nations, I was so hurt by women in life that I told the Lord, well, not told the Lord, I told myself, but I know the Lord heard me because he's with me, right? I was just like, you're not, for real. I'm like, you're not trusting no more women, because women have been so vicious to me. Like, before now, my friends or whatever, older women, I've been abused a lot by older women. They taken my money, assassinated my character. They just, like, for no reason, women have been just so petty towards me. So when I get to All Nations, I get all this love and affection. I'm not used to affection from men, because I wasn't getting the right kind of affection from men, but I'm just used to being around boys, so I like being around men. You know, that's my preference, to be around men, or was my preference. But women reaching out, I didn't like that at all, and I'm just like, these females scandalous, and they took Jaleel. Like, Jaleel, I'm sorry, so Jaleel was just mine, you know, that's my, for real, that's my big brother. And I loved him. I'm like, no, he going out to dinner with them. You didn't even bring me no leftovers. So what are they doing to you? I cannot. I'm being honest. I didn't like that. And she was one of the main women. Get out of here. Then I'm like, and he's gonna marry her. Like, I'm trying to be transparent and give y'all my brain, so to let y'all in on what I was thinking.
That is hilarious.
Because prior to all this deliverance, you know, this is how I was thinking. They're in cahoots. They're in collusion against me. They're against me. And they're plotting to take him. Bogus mentality is so bogus, but that's just how I thought about it.
Help me, God.
You know, I just, you know, I didn't like women.
Oh, God,
I liked the men. So that's just, you know, and she's here.
Oh, Jesus. I cannot. You want me to jump in now? Okay, that is hilarious. I think that this is just comical because I had no clue. So I think I knew 90% of what she said. I had no clue about the whole stealing Jaleel part. Like, I think that that's so funny. Like, the fact that she thought that we were cold and she was trying to come and claim him back. I think that that's hilarious. I had no clue. So I'll just kind of give my perspective or my take on it when she came into my life. So I think there was around the time where I was coming out of a very fragile state with the Lord. I felt like God had just got done going through extreme measures to intentionally break me, and I felt like the Lord was bringing me to a place of resolve that He wanted something out of my life. And I was in an immense wrestle with the plans, the purposes, and the will of God for my life. And I've always had people drawn to me, but because I've had that issue of not being able to trust, or just kind of just being transparent. Like, I feel like I used to deal with paranoia, and I used to always feel like people, that there was a motive in people wanting to get attached to me, because I had a very skewed perspective of myself. So anytime people would speak highly of me, or anytime people would want to establish a relationship or a brother or sister dynamic, anything like that, I was always very skeptical, because I didn't view myself through the lens and through the perspective that the Father viewed me. So I viewed myself as that same broken, tainted woman that I was pre-Christ. So I didn't fully come to terms with the fact that the Lord had plans for me and God really wanted to use me. So I had just left out of a stage of being extremely broken and hurt over some very important relationships kind of falling through, and I was wrestling with why God, why did this happen, why did that fall through, etc. And so I was just kind of in a place where I was just like, everybody back up off of me. Like, I don't want anybody on me. I was hurt, I was wounded, I was guarded. I had always been guarded all of my life, but I feel like at that point more layers of guards kind of sprung up, and I was just like, I'm in my corner, I'm in my cave. Nobody can look for me. Nobody pulled me out. I wasn't interested at all. And then, as she stated, me and Jaleel pops up and comes around, and me and him developed like a really close bond. That was like legit my little brother. Which is why it's funny that she said that she thought that we were getting married, because there wasn't the type of relationship that we had established. It was literally bro, sis. And I even joke with him now, call him my big little brother. So he came around. We developed a very close bond, because I've always been in the place where I've desired brothers. I've desired that security and that protection. So Jaleel came around. He kind of modeled that. He kind of modeled God's heart towards me. And so there was this immediate attraction. There was this immediate bonding. And I just love. I mean, still do. I love the stew of him. Like, I would, to this day, fight over anybody messing with him. That's like my brother, like legit, no questions asked. So in developing a relationship with him, he started inviting us around his family to family gatherings, etc. So started coming around. It's like, all right, meeting aunts, uncles, cousins, and it's like, man, this is great. Like we're getting to know him through his family. Like wonderful, loving it. And then we meet this beauty, and right off the bat, she's just like rough, ragged, like tough exterior, and immediately like I just couldn't. I mean, she probably thought I was weird, but the whole time, even though we were like meeting family, I just couldn't take my eyes off of her. Like I was immediately drawn to her, and that was because I saw me in her. I was like, this is literally like the younger version of me. Like this is how I was, like rugged, tough, just like thugging, just like really, mean, rude, just like really, you just kind of got that vibe from her, like back off or leave me alone. And so I thought it was funny because I was like, all right, like this is really interesting that I see so much of myself in her. So we start to have a conversation with this family, and we're interacting, and we're having a conversation with her and her friend, and we're at a dinner. So imagine we all eating, laughing, and talking, which is one thing about All Nations people. We don't care where we are. We could be in a restaurant. We could be waiting in line at the movie theater. Like when God starts speaking, like it's just something in us that just activates, and we just have to, give people the word of the Lord, and we have to give people what's on the heart or mind of God. So we're sitting at the table, we're talking to her, I'm talking to her friend, and out of nowhere, like it just comes up. So in the midst of people eating and laughing, we're like prophesying to the friend, and he's like, man, he's looking at her like, why are you telling them all my business? And she's spooked. She's like, I ain't telling them nothing. So she's weirded out, he's weirded out, and we're just like, kind of affirming them and confirming some things. And she thought it was sweet. Like she thought like, oh yeah, they got him, that's what he needed. So then I kind of turned to her and started prophesying, and she's just like, I feel like if she could have got up and ran, she would have. That's how spooked she was. So she was like low-key out there. Like it was like she was amazed, but there was like this thing where it's like, I want to know more, but back up at the same time. So that was really funny. So we ministered to her, and from there, I think the next time that I saw her, her demeanor was a bit different, but I sensed this openness. And I think for me, in the beginning, to be transparent, I was a bit fearful of the dynamics of our relationship because I felt like it took on legs quickly, and it just started to kind of move at a rapid rate. And although she was guarded, it was as if once she knew, or once there was confirmation that it was God, it was like she latched on, and immediately it was like, all right, I know you're of God, I know you're for me, like we in this. And it became that thing to where it was great, but it scared me because prior to her, I've like been able to pour into other people or assist other people, but nothing to this type of dynamic. So I was extremely fearful because it caught me off guard, and I was just like, I think for me, I was trying to wrap my mind around the timing of it. Like, okay, God, I just got out of a place where I was broken, and you were bringing healing and restoring things in me, and now immediately it was like I was getting launched back out there to begin to pour out and to begin to share the journey that I had gone through. I literally felt like, because she was a replica of me, everything that I had just mastered in that season of life, I had to pour it back into her. So it was just like, yeah, God, I just got it. Like, are you sure that I'm able to give this out? So I think it was just eerie at the timing of it. And then it became weird too. We were joking about this earlier, how possessive she used to be. So she did this thing to where she would put claims or tags on people. So anytime she would see me around other people, she would be like, oh, like this is my Vikki. She didn't like other people hugging me. She didn't like other people like trying to, she didn't like other people calling me their mentor or their disciple. None of that. Like she would manifest, and we legit had to have an honest to God. Fix your face. We legit had to have an honest to God conversation. I had to let her know, like, hey, I love you, but I don't belong to you. Like, in addition to being able to pour into you and being able to mentor and disciple you, the Lord will send other people, and I will have to own up to their responsibility, and I'll have to pour and disciple as the Lord leads me to. And you can't be jealous and you can't be possessive. So we had to walk through that process, which was really sticky, but you think you good now?
I'm good now.
Okay?
I'm good now.
So yeah, so now I can hug other people. I can talk to other people. I can, we're good now. But in that phase, it was kind of sticky because I think, so in the beginning, it kind of called me up because anytime when people are possessive, it automatically puts me in a place to where I automatically say, oh, that's a red flag, maybe I need to retreat. But what was different with this dynamic was the Lord gave me the lens of which that possession came from. And it came from a place of abandonment and her feeling as though anytime I attach or anytime I love on people, then they're just going to up and leave. So instead of me backing up or retreating, I had to affirm her and consistently encourage her and let her know, like, hey, we both have clarity, we both have understanding that this relationship is of God. I'm not going anywhere. Like, in addition to me pouring into other people, it doesn't take away who I am to you. It doesn't take away, you know, who you mean to me. So I just had to really exert that energy to affirm her and to let her know I'm not going anywhere. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, me just kind of doing the quickie, you know, giving you a few principles, giving you a little bit of wisdom, and then I'm like in and out the door, you know. So I kind of had to work or partner with the Holy Spirit to heal that wound and to heal that broken place in her. Like I said, it was very sticky because I dealt with the same thing. I felt like that was an issue of mine of rejection and abandonment, and feeling like anytime I attach, anytime I open up, people either turn on me or they leave. So it was literally mind-blowing in the sense of the same process that the Lord took me through. He literally used me to walk her through that same process. So I was amazed and I was blown away. But I think I was really amazed at her response. I thought that in her receiving so much affirmation and her receiving so much love, I'm like, you gonna push this girl out the door. Like, she's gonna leave. She's not gonna want anything to do with you. Like, she's gone. She's not coming back. But I was impressed with her response, and she responded in such out of a strong sense of maturity, in the sense of she responded well. She responded to the rebukes, to the cuts, to the affirmation. It was just like, you know, thank you for loving me, and in the times when the belt had to come out, like, thank you for whooping me. Like, she responded very well. So I think that was another indication that this is of God, in the sense of there were high times and there were low times, but she was able to kind of center herself or position herself, as she mentioned earlier, in being a student, to be able to receive wisdom and know the heart of God pertaining to her life. So she did well, and she's still doing well.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, I love her.
Yeah, I just think if you would take like anything from this scope, I think it would be it's all about your perception of the relationship. I just feel like as she mentioned, they so after that day at the dinner, when they obeyed God and, you know, like prophesied to us, I was never the same after that.
It was crazy. Like, it was a literal radical shift. I remember being on the phone with Jaleel, and we had like an hour-long conversation about her. And I remember in the initial stages, it was a very long conversation. And in the initial stages of us building, as I mentioned before multiple times, I'm very big on revelation. So immediately when I ministered the heart of God to her, I felt an attachment there. So automatically I felt a responsibility. So after I submitted it in prayer, I was talking to Jaleel about it, and I was explaining revelation that I got from the Lord. I'm like, hey, I feel like this is what Jordan is. I feel like this is what I'm to pour into her life. I feel like this is, you know, what I have to offer, etc. And he was just like, you know, yeah, like, you know, do it. Like, he was very much so in agreement. So I was just kind of talking through different things that I wanted to teach her, etc. And he was just like, yeah, go for it. And it was like after I had that conversation, the next time I saw her, she was drastically different. Like, her demeanor was different. The way she articulated things were different. The way that she perceived and understood things were different. She was a completely different person, to the point to where it kind of took me back a little bit, because I'm like, I saw you like a week or two ago, and you were like brute, bitter, like, you know, mean. And it's like I'm seeing you like a few weeks later, and it was the softer, sweeter. It was like the real her coming into play, and it was literally like, it was like night and day. It was like first meeting her, and it was night, dark, gloomy, and then, you know, seeing her a few weeks later, and it was literally as if within that span she had just begun to blossom. But I feel like people to kind of like put on an act or put on phases. And like she mentioned, she was an actress, so people can act like they're getting it together. But I think for me, an indicator for me is verbiage and language. So I listened to different things that she was saying, because the Bible tells us out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So in her speaking, I was able to measure her heart, and I was able to gauge where she was with the Lord in her heart. So in her behaving a certain way, I'm like, okay, that's wonderful, but let me listen to how you talk. So when she began to speak different things, and she began to put articulation in her time of prayer, in her time of worship and devotion, like, hey, as I was praying, the Lord gave me this scripture, and was able to like walk it through, and I was like, God, this is literally like a completely different girl. I'm like, I think it shocked me, but at the same time, it excited me, because I feel like I was the same way. Like, kind of that transition was immediate, in the sense of once I bought into who God was in his fullness and who God was to me, it was just like, I'm willing to turn away and forsake everything else that I've known before. And I feel like she did the exact same thing. It was like, once she was presenting God in that moment, and once she knew that God was concerned about her future, and that God was able to shed insight and clarity regarding her past and even her present, she bought me. I feel like at that restaurant, in the midst of all them people eating crab legs and chicken wings, and we was like, kicking it. But in that moment, I feel like that was a huge defining moment for her. So I really feel like it was literally the turning of it was the turning of another page. It was the dawning of a new chapter in her life, to the point to where when I saw her the next time, like, I don't even think you were dressed the same. I feel like the way you dressed, like, had even became more modest.
Yeah, I threw away my leggings. For real. They literally introduced me to the real me. I was all of a sudden, like, I was comfortable with being who I was. She literally, she had the key, like, because, man, Jaleel was there. So Jaleel has been there. She's been big brother, big cousin. Like, we've been like this or whatever. And he was at my Sweet 16. So this is a week after my Sweet 16. Sweet 16, I remember the day. So she started prophesying to me. It was, I think it was 8:26 at night, 8:26 p.m. And it was March 8th. It was on a Saturday. And my Sweet 16 was the Saturday before then. It was March 1st. And Jaleel was there, and he's like, woman of God, holiness. And I'm like, hey, yeah, holiness. I didn't care. But my friends, they said it. They're like, we don't like this. It's like all of a sudden, I started reading my word while they was down there practicing the set. Because we had twerk routine. So you got to practice before you go out. Then it went from me being the center of attention at the parties to me being in a corner somewhere, like, just looking like. I got really uncomfortable once I really encountered God. And then that Sunday, Jaleel came and got me and took me to church. Apostle prophesied to me, And
you were up there dancing with the flag.
Yeah, and so I went. I used to bow. But then I got real, I was just done with church. I was really done with church. Never experienced, I was done with the religious, come and praise dance. And then, because I could literally be at a party till 3 o'clock that morning and be up for church 11 o'clock praise dancing. Like, I just didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, I was just tired of that. I even just, stopped going to church. I wasn't going to church, Then I went to All Nations, my home now, and I felt the urge to bow before God. I haven't bowed since I was a kid, so what am I bowing now for? And I was like, the Lord threw me on my face, and then when I got up, Apostle was like, he's like, dancers, come on the stage. Now I don't know who Apostle is. I don't know this man. At this point, I have not met this man, and he's like, and he invited me to dance, so I'm down, just being free. And then he turns around, he points, and he's like, come here. Now, let me pause. I thought Jaleel was the only prophet in the world, right? He's the only male prophet on earth.
That's so funny.
So this man has the audacity to take his position and prophesy. And I have never fallen out in the glory. But when I tell you, it felt like God just hit me in my face. I went and watched the live stream, and my body literally wiped while he was prophesying 10 stuff. Because he said, the Lord showed you 3 dreams. And the Lord did show me 3 dreams. He's a real prophet. The Lord showed me 3 dreams. You know what I'm saying? So it was that. So my change, this was literally 2 weeks. So this was Sunday to Sunday, then another Sunday. Like it took 2 weeks for my transition to be like, it wasn't complete because I had a lot of deliverance to undergo, but it was good. But I think what also helped it is that they were being integral with their walk.
That's so good.
I never met Christians like that before I got to All Nations. We literally would have parties and do whatever we wanted to do. Cuss, female, like having sex, doing all the time, coaching me on how to do it or whatever, like helping me how to be a thought. But I met these people, and I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to know if it was real, so I went on Facebook. Facebook aligned with their walk with God.
That's so good.
I saw them outside of church on Sunday, and it was like it was legit. And that's what really helped me to see that it's really real people out here. Because if they was fake, I don't think I would be who I am today. I don't think I would be in relationship really with God. Because everybody I knew was conforming. You know what I'm saying? We would do dirty stuff, but best believe we would sing for praise and worship. We was there, even on time. On time. So to see these young people as well, to see these young people living for Christ, going hard, prophesying, doing all of this stuff, being integral, and not even, they wasn't prideful either. Because, you know, in Chicago, it's a lot of talented people, and they boasting their gifts. They wasn't sweating it. They was like chilling. So I'm like, maybe I can, you know, be somebody for God and just be myself at the same time. And I really feel like that's what helped me too. The fact that they wasn't doing the most. They was chilling with the Lord, and I wanted to chill with the Lord too. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate them saying yes to God, because I feel like if the people at All Nations, if Vikki, Jaleel, if they didn't really say yes to the Lord, I don't think I would have been able to say yes to God. If they didn't follow God and follow the voice of God, I don't think I would be who I am. Because I know it was creepy for me. Like, we met or whatever. I didn't know she felt that way about me. I'm just like, because of my past with women, I'm just like, I'm finna inbox this girl because I feel like she's the only one that understands me right now.
Yeah.
And I inboxed her. I'm like, hey, can I talk to you?
She did.
And it was crazy. And then my mom, like, she's not, you know, she getting there. She's not always saved or whatever. But my mom knows that I don't fool around with women like that. So when I started telling her about this girl that I met and all of this, my mom's first words was, "You gay? Like, this your girlfriend or something?" And that broke my heart, because I'm like, oh my God, this is like my older sister. And I'm really like telling her all my concerns, because I was a guarded person. So I don't really talk to females. And I was like, you this church or whatever, they got you, you know, because my mom already thought I was gay. I go to Shy Arts, so since a lot of people are gay, you know, she's just like, you gay, and I don't like, you know, this relationship you got with this girl. You don't even know her, and you texting her all of your business and stuff. But that wasn't enough to make me quit.
It's so funny that you said that. Actually, I just want to interject, because somebody asked a question earlier and said, I thought it was a troll. And I just found out that her friend told me that she's not a troll whatsoever. She asked me to unblock her. But basically, because I blocked her. But basically she said, how do you avoid, when you guys were speaking about, like, the covenant, and she said, how do you avoid that from becoming a romantic relationship? And the lady, it was her daughter. So I'm sorry about that. We will definitely unblock her. We'll definitely unblock her. We're very protective over these testimonies, and so we wanted to make sure. I thought it was malicious, but it's great that you brought that up, because that means that your daughter was on point. So can you all talk about, like, talk about that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think with any relationships, boundaries are essential. And I am a huge advocate of revelation. So I believe that the two kind of coincided. Like, if the two merges together, then I feel like there's no room for perversion or for there to be any type of dysfunctional activity to kind of enter into the relationship. And I believe that what the Lord did with the both of us, God gave us revelation separately, and we were able to bring it together, and then the Lord gave us revelation collectively as well. And I believe that because we have that revelation, and because we have those boundaries and those parameters, that and I think overall just the understanding that this relationship is of God and it's not by our means or by our doing. We have an understanding and we have a reverence to protect it. We invest in it. I feel like it's the same thing with that I kind of harp on with friendships about investment, but I feel like it's the same way with all relationships are an investment. I believe that we don't grow lax, we don't grow casual with each other. You know, she don't hit me up like, hey homie, you know, what's up? Like there's a matter of honor and reverence there. So I would just say revelation and boundaries are really big.
Yeah, I feel like what she said with honoring. So like even before Christ, I love to serve. I love to serve people. So
she said, okay, I'm sorry. I just want to clarify. She said that her daughter asked at the point when she mentioned that the young lady was originally experienced possessiveness over you, and so that's when her question came in, like, how do you avoid from any romantic interest or anything like that?
Yeah, I in all honesty, like this may be a bit controversial, but I would say, and it's not to like shade her or anything like that, or it's not to. This is not coming off like in pride. I will also say that the Lord knows what He's doing in terms of building relationships like this. So I don't believe it's the Lord's doing to bring together two perverse people or two people with the same struggle. So although lust and perversion was an issue for her, I'm the exact opposite in the sense of my mandate or my message is holiness, righteousness, and purity. So the Lord knew that we needed each other. So immediately, even in that place of possession, I didn't take it as like, oh, it's perverse. She wanted me. I was able to pray and get the heart of God and understand that possession for her equated to abandonment. So she was possessive and she felt like she had to hold on for dear life because she thought that I was going to leave. So I would say that in establishing any type of relationship, just being mindful of the person's struggle, even if it's not current, whether it's current or past or prior, having an understanding that the Lord would not bring two people together to create a snare or a opening for people to fall, if that makes sense. So I think everybody is different, and unfortunately there are relationships where you have older people that's kind of in my age bracket and younger people such as herself, but you have that perverse and that lust that kind of presents itself where someone tries to take advantage or prey on the younger person. But I would just say that not all dynamics are like that, and as I mentioned earlier, revelation is so key. So having insight and having understanding that she struggled with this, and oftentimes when the Lord makes connections, He connects people to add something to your life, not to take away. So in the Lord adding me to her life, the Lord knew her struggle, the Lord knew the areas that she was broken in, and the Lord allowed me to enter into her life to add to something. So I believe that there has to be a measure of wholeness and restoration. Even if my testimony was different in the sense of even if my struggle was the same, there would have to be no residue of it. There would have to be radical deliverance, and it would have to be fruit that I've been completely delivered from that lifestyle before being able to walk someone through that, which is how oftentimes the enemy kind of entraps or entangles people in snares, is prematurely before they fully have been delivered or have fully turned away from a lifestyle. He deceives them into thinking that they can keep the same company, or they can be in the same environment, or they can speak the same language of the thing that was out to assault and kill them. So even if a person does have a similar struggle, and people are walking together, that's not an issue if radical deliverance has taken place. So if deliverance has not occurred and it's not evident and there's no fruit of it, because I feel like fruit is a huge indication beyond what a person says with their mouth, and being able to measure the fruit of it. If deliverance is not a fruit of theirs, then the Lord won't bring their relationship together. Sorry.
Yeah. I just think God's not a dummy, and I'm just saying, like, God is not wrong in anything that He's done, in anything that He does. So if it's God, then God, He's gonna protect that. And I do believe that people can opt out of relationships. I do believe people can distort the meaning of relationships.
Yeah.
But if your real intent is to grow and flourish in God, I think you'll protect that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now, instead of it being my rejection, you know, I'm just protective over who she is, over who I am, and over our relationship. It's not bondage anymore, because that's literally what it was when I was extremely protective. It was just, you know, you take it away from me. But now I look at it, and even with my spiritual mama, because I was being transparent with Frenda one day, her big sister Frenda, Pastor Frenda. I was just like, I don't think a couple months ago I would have been able to handle other daughters or whatever. But now I'm in a place now where I'm good, and I really want people to experience what I experienced.
So
I believe as mentees, our job is not to only receive from them, but it's to help other people receive from them, because obviously it's something that they have or that they hold that God wants other people and not just you to have. So even though I happen to be the first one, you know, the first, not experiment, but the first.
No, you're not experiment.
What can I say? The first
disciple.
The first disciple. I do believe, and I know in my heart that there's going to be others. You know what I'm saying? So even I can help them with their approach to her, what to say, to get, you know, to know, because I want people to be free like I'm free. You know what I'm saying? And I'm no longer selfish of them, of what they possess, because I believe the Lord could get rid of me like this if I'm a hindrance to what she's supposed to be doing.
Wow.
So you don't want to be a leech to your leader. You don't want to be a leech to your spiritual parent, to your mentor. You want to be of support. You want to be that, not a lifeline, but you want to be something to help push who they are. While they on the front line, you need to be wiping their sweat. You know what I'm saying? You need to be getting bandages to supply, you know, what the devil has.
That's so good. You preaching.
She was bubbling up. She's bubbling up.
That is good.
That was good.
No, because
Oh my
now I'm
God.
protective over, you know, sonship and being a student. I've learned that if you stay in a position of a student, knowing that you always have more to learn, the Lord can pour into you even more.
So good.
So instead of, to me, my glass is never all the way up.
Good.
And it's, you know what I'm saying, but I stay like this, so as I'm poured into, I can pour into other people. You know what I'm saying? When I'm feel, you know, my residue can help influence other people. I never want to be a hindrance to the move of God, because what do he could kill me. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this breath. I don't deserve nothing. I'm serious. I don't deserve nothing the Lord do for me. But he, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to push the Lord's movement. It's other people in the kingdom that need to be touched.
It's so good.
So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
That thing is so good.
You don't want to let your brokenness affect other people.
That's good.
When you're broken, you know how some glasses feel. You need to do what you can to get it up,
Preaching.
because somebody else needs to walk through. And when they walk through with their bare feet, you don't want them walking to the throne and getting cut.
Why are you on this go preaching? This is
You
so
don't
good.
want them to get cut.
That thing is
So you need to
good.
clean it up, move it to the
That's
side,
good.
and make sure there's no residue left.
That's good.
Because it's not fair to other people. And that's why I really, that's my heart of protection for my leaders and my mentors and my spiritual parents. Because as other people hurt, when you hurt your leaders, that means they have to recover. And I know that sometimes the Lord does that to bring something greater out of the leader, but why would you want to do that?
My God.
Why would you want to position yourself to hurt somebody that has to help other people?
Jesus.
So you need to be getting their water. You need to be carrying stuff. People, I may look thirsty. No, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. But I'm going to help the move of God instead of hinder it.
That's so good.
Period.
She got me sitting over here evaluating my relationship with my mentor, and I like low-key got stirred because I'm like, after hearing all of that,
One of your friends said, "Y'all don't know she be preaching like this at school."
That's so funny.
I love you, whoever you are.
One thing that like that she was hitting on, I feel like that makes me love and honor my mentor even more, because I feel like that whole thing of not like being able to move from a place of being possessive and controlling to being selfless and serving, I feel like that thing right there is powerful. But I feel like in just staying there, that means that you cannot be a jealous person. You cannot be a person who battles or deals with comparison, in the sense of knowing your lane, knowing your domain of grace, knowing what it is that you have to receive from the mentor, but then being mindful that there are other people who need different parts of the mentor, if that makes sense. So I'm sitting here thinking like,
yeah, because it's crazy. Because when you come from a place of jealousy, it's not doing nothing. It's gonna hurt somebody. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt the leader, and you don't want to do that. I don't believe God puts people together for you to be possessive. Cause your clothes don't belong to you. Your shoes, this earth don't belong. It's all God's, right? So you need to trust that whatever is happening, it's of God. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to lead you don't want to be under no bogus leader that don't know the voice of God. So like, it's just time out for bogus sons and students. Like, Jesus even came to the world and served. So why wouldn't we have to serve? You know what I'm saying? He washed the feet of the disciples. He didn't just hand them a rag and say, do it yourself. So in everything, we need to serve. We need to come from a servant's heart, and not be ashamed. And people be so afraid and ashamed of what you look like. I don't care what. I don't care what you look at me as. I don't care. But if me carrying the baby, if me carrying her Bible, carrying her purse, gonna free her up to help somebody else that's in bondage, that's trapped, she can't do nothing with stuff in her hands. Her hands are her weapons, are her tools. So if they're busy, then she can't do what she needs to do. So let me take that off of you. Let me take that burden off of you, and you go do what you need to do. And when you come back, I'm going to guard and protect whatever you gave to me. It's going to be in one piece when you get back.
that is so good.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's just no. Be a good follower. We always concerned about good leaders, but we distort leadership and good leaders with our attitude and our approach to leadership and to following people. You can't do that.
I think people lack understanding of the power of pursuit and what it means to truly pursue and to follow. Like, following requires or mandates that you forsake and leave everything that once brought you comfort, that once brought you safety, and you're willing to do away with it for the sake of being able to access and walk into greater. So I think even in her walk, and even in my walk with my own personal mentor, when the Lord presented her in my life, I'll never forget something that my father said. He made a statement, and the statement was, mentors is God's invitations to the next level. And so when my mentor presented herself, I was extremely humble and I was grateful, because as he stated, I took it as God invited me to my next place in him. And I believe that from that moment to where I entered into that relationship with her, to even now, I still have the same reverence, I still have the same honor, I still have the same respect for her, in the sense of what is in her. Accessing that will be able to launch me into my next place. So I'm not able to move or to grow or to thrive or to flourish if I'm not able to fully tap into or access what it is that's in her. And I believe that there is that pride blinds people, in the sense of, I think it robs people of understanding that you can only, like, with just you're limited. You can't get to your next place in God trying to do it by your own means or by your own strength. You will fail miserably. So I think what happens is pride deceives people or robs people of the grace of being vulnerable. As she stated, like, I don't give a flip how many girls look at me when it comes to the serving. If you need me to tie your shoe, I will get on one knee and tie your shoe. Why? Not because I'm trying to brown nose or because I'm trying to kiss up. Because I honor and reverence who you are to me. And I just feel like so many analogies that she gave about freeing what was in the hand to be able to minister and do the work of God. That was so profound and powerful. I was getting a little teary-eyed. I was having a proud moment.
Because it's real.
That's so good.
Another thing, you gotta stop telling God what to do. Because I noticed the saints like to tell God, you know, pick and choose, you know, who they want to be mentored by, who they want. No. A, that shows that you don't trust God with your future.
That's good.
And B, you don't have the authority to do that.
No, you don't.
You don't. So I think why God, you just have to be open to anybody.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just crown this person. And it's not fair to that person. They don't even know they're your mentor. But you mad. You mad at something. Get your life. That's not fair. No. You got to open up your mouth. And before you talk to anybody, you need to express this stuff to God. You positioning yourself before God can allow him to drop something in somebody else. My apostle says all the time, God knows your future is the past to God. So why don't you just trust him? With me, I didn't know apostle or none of that, so I didn't care who it was. I just told God that I needed help.
Yeah.
And you have to humble yourself and tell God that I know that I can't do this by myself. I used to cry on the floor because I wanted to text a boy. You know? Because these was in my thought days, y'all. I thrived off of male attention. You know what I'm saying? So Vikki had the key to give me the affection and attention that I needed that was right, that was righteous, that was holy. You know what I'm saying? And it literally replaced my desire to talk to boys as much as I did. So it went from me texting like 15 people, literally, I'm not lying to y'all. I had thought 1, thought 2, thought 3, thought 4, and the different emojis could tell me where I met you at. I was strategic in my thoughtism. So for her to come, she replaced, thoughtism. She came and she replaced, with her love and affection, it replaced my desires to be seen by other men.
And it's all God, because naturally, I mean, people say this all the time and looking at me, I'm not naturally an affectionate or overly touchy, lovey-dovey person. Like, I'm naturally not like that. In my own strength, in my own being as a person, I'm naturally not like that. So I think what she hit on is key in you trusting God to send the help that you need. Not what you want, but what you need. The Lord knows it. And God will craft and mold people into being